Hey students, let's get into a short training where we will see how to exploit weaknesses from this game of Casablanca chess between Nakamura and Carlsen. Those who don't know what Casablanca chess is, it's where they get a position from an old Grandmaster game and just play it out. And in this one, Nakamura goes for the move knight to d5. The game, by the way, originally is from from Karpov against Kasparov from one of their World Championship matches. White's happy to exploit the weakness of the d5 square, jumping into the outpost. But after c3, black faced an interesting choice, where if black is happy with a draw, he could play a move like bishop takes h4, and after something like bishop b6, queen g5, we could have a repetition of moves as such. Obviously, black can't just take the pawn on g4, because then after the exchanges, he is going to lose the bishop on h4. If you're enjoying the training, by the way, do make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. In the game, black played the move knight to f6, just developing. But after knight e7, you would probably expect Carlsen to play queen takes c7, and after g5, you'd have some normal position with roughly equal chances. But Carlsen plays it a bit more creatively, a bit more dynamically, with king takes e7. So the threat to the pawn is still there, so white plays g5 to deal with it. And again, you might expect some quiet move like knight d7, play a position like this, where both sides have their chances. But white definitely has some ideas with the weakness of the h6 pawn being a bit of a factor. I think a move that Carlsen played is a bit practically stronger of bishop g4, because it asks quite some trickier questions by attacking the bishop. The reason the bishop goes to c1 here and not to d2 is so that if black plays queen b6, there isn't a fork on these two pieces at once. Black takes the pawn, and this was really the key moment of the game where what white had to do is he had to play the move of f3 in this position, flicking this intermezzo to kick the knight away before playing bishop takes g5. If you're wondering why you don't play h takes g5, it's because after takes, it just ends up being really bad for white. Just statically, the structure is just really weak in this case. You've got queen b6 coming in as well. But after bishop takes g5, the position is playable for both sides. White's structure is a little bit weak on the king's side, but he does have the pair of bishops to make up for it. Black would even play king d7, just getting out of the pin. And again, you don't really mind the double pawns because you're going to get pretty good play on the king side files from there. And after castles, black can even just take this pawn with impunity, and you get this position with chances for both sides where the awkward position of black's king will give white good compensation for the pawn, but not necessarily more than that. But in the game, white played the move bishop f3, and maybe he was expecting knight f6 and a similar sort of thing to what we just saw. But Carlsen found a much better move in queen d7, and that's really the difference between bishop f3 and f3 here. Bishop takes g5, now we can even just fix the opponent's weakness in place and, put white in a pretty tough spot that way. Nakamura tried rook g1, but Carlsen was ready with this great move of knight h2. Not the easiest move to see or to play, because it looks like you're self-trapping the knight, but the point is after takes, f6, bishop e3, and rook c3, c to g8. White just doesn't really have a good way to win the knight, because we always have the idea of either taking the bishop or just taking the h4 pawn. White dealt with the latter idea with h5, but black took. A lot of good moves to black by now, but queen b5 is a nice way to ask white some questions, try to provoke a little bit of a weakness in the white structure. If castles, obviously we can just take on a2 as such. But the other ways to defend are a bit awkward, like b3 is running into a very annoying queen to d3, for example, just really tying white up here. And in the game, after bishop to c1, black played bishop f7, just focusing the fire on the h5 weakness, and white just really struggles to defend all of their weaknesses at once. You can't even play b3 really because of takes and the pin on the pawn being a problem as such. So the game ended queen e2, d5, very nice move by Carlsen, just hitting in the center. And obstacle bishop positions are all about who has the better bishop, and black's bishop is clearly a lot better, as white hasn't got the queenside pieces out, and therefore the white king is clearly a lot more exposed than the black king, even though neither one is castled. Material might be equal for now, but fe5 just helps open up that e file for the king. Not that white really had anything better. Queen g1, king f7, bishop e3, and notice how white still can't castle because of the bishop covering d1. And yeah, final nice tactic turn in the game was rook takes e3, where queen takes e3 would allow queen d1 checkmate, and therefore Nakamura resigned. Hope you enjoyed this little bit of a training. Do let me know in the comments below what was your favorite move or favorite part of it. And yeah, as you'll notice, I'm doing more of these 5-minute style trainings, so it's easier for you to get through them. So yeah, if you haven't already, tap that notification bell and set the notification settings to all. That'll ensure that you don't miss out on any of my trainings on YouTube. Yeah, see you on the next one.